Hello and welcome back to the Popcorn for Dinner podcast. And welcome to the original birth of Chicagoland. Everyone that works here has a personality disorder. Today, we're doing it family style and we're discussing the final season of one of my favorite shows of the last few years, Hulu's The Bear. And joining me today, he's preaching maximization over stabilization, falling through roofs and hunting spoon thieves. It's Pete Peppers. Pete, welcome back.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. It seems just like yesterday you were on the podcast discussing For All Mankind with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've been quite frequent over the last few months. We are very thankful for your time.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be talking to not you. I don't think you're going to be on the episode, but I think I'm going to be talking House of the Dragon with Popcorn for Dinner sometime soon as well.
Yeah. I'm not going to be that episode, but yeah. A little tease for anyone who's in the Bear / House of the Dragon Venn diagram. But yeah, hopefully you'll be on here very soon to talk about House of the Dragon season 3. Speaking of, we're obviously covering that, but you're also covering that on your channel.
Yes.
Anyone who doesn't follow Pete by now, go check out Pete on YouTube. Pete Peppers. Anything else you have coming down the line that you want to share?
Silo season 3 starts up next week. Yeah.
I'm going to try really hard to do Silo season 4. We couldn't do it this year. I'm just like, I am tired. We're not doing Silo this year. So go check out Pete for your Silo content.
Yeah, it's actually a complicated show to jump into at this point because it's one of those shows that's changed pretty drastically from season to season, and it's just set up another big change before the third. So I don't blame you for not wanting to try to tackle it cold and right now if you don't have a lot of other free time.
Yeah. Everyone just keep like 30 seconds if you don't want to know Silo spoilers. But I felt so dumb when the trailer for season 3 came out, because when season 2 ended, I just kind of assumed the prequel section that showed before the Silo. I just thought that was like not necessarily throwaway, but I was like, oh, they just kind of like showing us that there was a life before. I just did not realize that they were going to follow that thread in the next season. I don't know why. I was like, oh yeah, actually that makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like it. I think it's the presentation. Like if you don't have any idea about the book series, like it feels just like a teaser. You know, like this is an explanation from where that Pez dispenser came from. It just feels
exactly.
like, you know what I mean? It just feels like a nice little Easter egg teaser. But yeah, no, that in the book series, the second book actually just isn't in the Silo at all. It goes straight into the past. So,
because I was like, these are two actors that I really do recognize, and like I was like, oh, they don't just throw them away in a random scene. Like Jessica Henwick, like she's been in Game of Thrones, she's been on Marvel. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So anyway, but yeah, I'm excited for that. Big fan of Colin Hanks as well. Always kind of like him when he shows up. So I'm kind of excited. I'm really, really excited about the prequel section of this season. I'd like to actually kind of know more, and hopefully we get more of Rebecca Ferguson interacting with people this season.
Yeah.
And not just like spending a season doing MacGyver stuff. Anyway, let's talk about the Bear. Let's start just as we try to always do big picture thoughts on the show. We've never, like we just mentioned, you've been on the podcast kind of really discussing sci-fi stuff. So we've never really discussed a show like The Bear, or specifically The Bear on the podcast. So I guess, like, what are your thoughts? What's your history with The Bear? We've spoken offline a bit about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's almost a surprise to me because we've talked about The Bear extensively, but just never on a recording, like a recording.
Yeah, and those are the ones that matter. The recordings that are monetized. Like, what those are the discussions that matter.
Yeah. But yeah, like as far as the season, the final season, in a word, it was satisfying.
Mm.
Um, I'll admit to being a little bit. It took me a while to come around on the first few episodes, like
Structure.
the first 3 episodes in particular. Like I was not, it wasn't working for me. Um, like most of it made sense, and I kind of knew, why they were doing what they were doing, but it didn't start to. I didn't start to feel like I was really invested in what was happening until I guess about the 4th episode, and then it was all downhill from there. And we saw
Wait,
7.
downhill or uphill?
I mean, uphill, I guess would
I
be
was
the
like,
correct
oh,
way to
this is
say
going
it.
to be a different podcast.
Yeah, it was
If it
all
was all downhill.
it was all good. It was all got better from there.
Yeah.
We saw 7, and then like so at the end of 7, and like we had to binge them, and
Hmm.
we didn't have to, but that just because of scheduling that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
sort of had to do it that way. And so like I was feeling pretty good at the end of 7, but I was like, I need to see 8 to see if that is going to make everything kind of
Hmm.
bring the balance in of like make it fully yin and yang, you know what I mean? So that
Yeah.
that all of it, and I thought it did do that. There's some funny things like, I thought that I was thinking like, there's a lot of stuff that you pick up on that is like an improvement over the last couple episodes, like not as many distracting cameos and things like that,
Hmm. Hmm.
and that last scene, that has to be like that's a super flex, right? To give all of those characters guest star credits, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
for
Like, do you
like
want to show up for one
doing
afternoon?
nothing. Like Bob
Yeah.
Odenkirk got paid for that. Like he got paid the rate that you pay Bob Odenkirk to do an episode of your
I
TV
was thinking
show.
about that. It's just like, do you want to show up for one afternoon with everybody? Bob Odenkirk, Molly Gordon, like Jamie Lee Curtis. It's just everyone
Yeah.
that's ever been on the show.
Yeah, and
Um,
it's obviously in the same. It was obviously shot in the same block as episode 7 of last season too. Like you know what I mean, like the one where they're all those characters are in it, right?
oh, the wedding.
Yeah. So
No, no, I don't think. No, I think well, you think they shot that
I think they
while they were
shot
shooting
that
the.
in the same block of episodes. Whenever they shot that, I think they also shot
I,
the birthday
I
party.
mean,
I don't think that
maybe
they got all those people to
I won't be
come.
surprised if it did. Because I don't think they had written season 5 when they were shooting season 4.
Yeah,
So,
I don't assume they did either, but I just figure that there has to be some kind of weird behind the scenes.
but I think all of them are like kind of like Christopher Stora's friends.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
so he
yeah,
could just be like, "Hey, do you want to come over for like one afternoon in Chicago?" Um, yeah, we're going to talk about episode 7 and then the finale, definitely in depth. I kind of, I was thinking, obviously, about this show in preparation for this, and I was thinking about some of the other shows that I've loved over the last few years, especially in Prestige TV, and I realized that there are shows that like I emotionally love, and there are shows that I intellectually love. Right. And I don't
yeah,
think one is better than the other or whatever. But I was thinking like there's some shows that when I think about them, I just think about, oh, that was such a smart show, or I love the way they did this, or I love the way they crafted it. And there's some when I just think about them, just like it's straight to my heart. It's just like, and I was like, the Bear really is like an emotional show for me. It's I tweeted the other day that like it's the one show that I think best articulates how it feels in my head and in my heart,
hmm,
like as like a creative person and someone who feels like who wants to make stuff, also feels like the whole world is conspiring against them not to make stuff. It's just like it kind of, I was like, I feel like I am Kami, even though don't always present as Kami. So I kind of always understand him, but I want to be Sid. I want to be the one that's calm, and so it was just I was thinking about the show and I was like, I don't think a show better represented me or my fears and my hopes and my dreams and everything. And it was just such a, I really, really like the show. And like, obviously, it's one of the shows that like, I think, obviously, like you said, the distractions, cameos is like a thing that everybody has always complained about. But I would think like lots of the problems just kind of wash problems in quotes kind of wash over me just because like when it hits, it's such like a shot to the heart for me that like I kind of miss everything else, if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
I'm really gonna miss the show.
yeah, there was a couple of things about this. I mean, for me, this season, the emotional through line for me was Marcus.
Mm,
And there was this there that like whenever he had that meeting with his dad, I was thinking about those kinds of situations where it's gonna be what it is, and
mhm,
but you can't stop yourself from wanting it to be something different, and the way that you just sort of like it the whole thing just started to feel like this idea of like what it's like to say goodbye to something that you really care about. And for the bear, like I never stopped liking the bear, you know what I mean? But the first season, it was just a different kind of thing. And then the second one, like they expanded in such a great way.
mhm.
And so, like it never topped the experience of 3 and 4 weren't the same as watching 1 and 2, and
Yeah.
I didn't connect them with them in the same way. But watching this one, part of the reason why I was having trouble in the beginning was it felt like that they were trying to undo some of the stuff that people complained about. Like, it felt like it felt almost like to me that there was a bit of like, okay, you didn't like there were so many facts and they weren't very funny, and so we're gonna really kind of like address that early on. And I don't know, it felt a little bit like caught up in the what and how people reacted to it, and
Mhm.
maybe like, trying to correct or something. And then, like, later, it got sort of self-referential, you know what I mean? Like, where it was like where you could tell that it wasn't like they were correcting because they felt like that was, like, valid, and a valid way to, like, create something is to try to answer what everyone doesn't like or whatever. They were kind of just sort of like, we're on it with you, you know what I mean? There was like a mention about
Mhm. Call me.
Sid and Carmi dating, you know what I mean? Whenever Pete talked to Donna,
So
and
their theories.
yeah, he
That
said
made
there's
me laugh.
something.
That made me laugh.
Yeah, and so like then it sort of felt self-referential instead of like just sort of like what I thought was going on in the beginning,
Yeah.
you know?
Um yeah, no, I like I mean, I think from a big picture stylistic structure, we're gonna talk about the structure now of the first few episodes.
Mhm.
Because I was watching and I was like, oh, I can see the public not liking this. First of all, it's a structure that only works in a binge. Like, I am very pro
Yeah.
weekly releases, but there's no way this works if you're releasing every week.
Yeah,
It's
no,
not possible.
I thought about that earlier too. That's something I had noted down was like, this is one of the first times when I will say that
A binge is better, yeah.
this is
Hmm.
better binged for sure. If you had to watch this week to week, like it would have been, yeah, people would have been
Yeah,
tying themselves up in knots about it.
yeah.
But
So I won't
it
be
sets
surprised
something
if,
up and it pays it off. You know what I mean?
for sure, it said, I was able to rewatch most, like, I think I watched 6 out of 7 of the first 7. I didn't rewatch it, I didn't have time. But, like, you realize that so much is set up in those few
Mhm.
episodes that you don't even catch on the first watch. You're like, "Oh," and they kind of all pay off. Um, so
Did you
one of the
notice
big
that he was in? Did you have a working theory on how what the phone calls were?
I thought he was ignoring someone. I thought he knew who was calling.
Yeah, and it was confusing, but it didn't. I thought it was handled so well because you didn't ever like stop and think. You know what I mean? Like this,
Mhm.
it never like overshadowed everything else that was going on.
Yeah.
I thought that was one of the neatest tricks because at first I was like, well, maybe it's Claire because you're thinking there's going to be some
Same.
resolution, but then you're like, she would not be calling with unknown
Unknown
caller.
number.
But instead
And
of sitting there for like the next 45 minutes and thinking like, who the hell keeps calling this phone? Because it happens in almost every episode, right?
mhm.
It just slides right by. And to me, that's really impressive.
It's yeah, and because again, it's like so. on brand with Kami that he would be ignoring somebody. Like I think what does Sid say? I wish I had the bravery to reject a call, and he was like, "It's not bravery," because he doesn't want this person. Like so we think he knows who he's calling, and he just doesn't want to speak to them, right? And you're like, "Oh no, he's just like." Kami is someone that just ignores unknown numbers because he doesn't want that extra chaos in his life. He can't deal with it. He's too afraid to deal with that. And the
Yeah.
moment he hears, oh, somebody's trying to reach you, and now he's away from the shift from hell, the service from hell, he answers the phone. I thought it was so great. I think the candles are set up again so well with Marcus and Luca.
Yeah.
Um I even kind of on
Also,
first
I loved I love Donna lighting every candle in the world whenever she's
I was like
sitting in
I was like,
she's like, "I
Donna,
lit candles," and she's sitting there, and there's, like,
I was like,
500
Donna, I
candles.
am so scared. You're the last. I was like, when she left, I was like, I hope you blew out every candle. You're the last person I want to have their whole house filled with candles, Donna. Um, nah, but like, even like, I missed, I don't know how I missed this on first watch. I missed that like all their uniforms were like affected by the flood. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
why they wearing their, so again, all these little things were just kind of, I also missed, I don't know how I missed all these things. I also missed that the labels, like the water had destroyed them. Obviously, I figured it as it was going, but like I missed the
Yeah.
actual scene. So all these
Oh,
little
with
things are
sweeps,
just
yeah, like, so
yeah,
he really had to do his job, you know?
yeah. But even actually, let's just answer that quickly because even at that, he seems like so because he put 97, but then he was second guessing right, or because he took the
Yeah.
99, right? So
I think he got it right, but he wasn't sure that he
he
would.
wasn't sure. Yeah. Um. Okay. So one of the biggest criticisms about, or not criticisms, kind of like online social media, whatever awards thing has been this show's classification as a comedy, right? I've never really kind of engaged with that because I don't mind. I'm okay with category fraud. That's fine. Like whatever, you should have been smarter. Um,
Yeah. I mean,
so I've never really addressed that. But I would say something I've always, and this is not a real argument. Nobody should use this in the court of Emmy education. I've always said that like, yes, this show might not be the funniest show, but I've always described it as a sitcom. Not in the sense of like a funny, like Modern Family, Big Bang Theory, whatever, but like it's built like a sitcom. It's structured like a sitcom. Like the best episode, like I think people have the plot, quote unquote, of The Bear became so important that people started thinking it was this kind of plot driven drama that like the plots went across all 10 or 8 episodes of the
mhm.
season. And I was like, actually, no, season one and season two, especially, like every episode is a different, like A plot, B plot, premise, action, resolution. Like it's built like I'm not saying that's enough to make it a comedy in the Emmys, but like it's built like a sitcom. And to me, that was kind
Mhm.
of the thing I always loved about it. It was like we could just drop in with these characters and see what's going on in this 25 to 40 minutes. It wasn't like, oh, this episode is picking up where the last episode ended. Like episode ended with Walter White with a gun on Gus. What happens next? No, it's kind of like it's a sitcom structure. And
Yeah.
so all that to say is that like, which is why I really, really enjoyed the first 6 episodes of this season, because it's just kind of like dropping out. Obviously, this one actually does follow a timeline, but like
Mhm.
it was easier to like, I was like, oh no, I don't care about the plot. I just care about these characters and what is going on within this 20-minute section of the day. So anyway, that
Yeah.
was just kind of like why for me it was easier to kind of enjoy the structure because this is what I've always felt like the show was.
Yeah, no, that does make sense, and, like I said, I did come around on it, and I did have a feeling that they were building momentum specifically, like, that's
Hmm.
and I didn't, I couldn't argue with that considering that that there needed to be resolution, you know what I mean? There was a
Hmm.
lot of things that needed to be handled, if for it to be considered satisfying. And I think then at the end, that also made the open-ended stuff feel better, it actually added to the way that ended up, uh, landing because, that's life, right? You don't know you can't wrap everything up, like certain things are gonna be, you know, they're gonna be what
Open
they
ended.
are. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll ask some questions before we get into like talking about episode 7. Uh, why would anyone go to a restaurant in this weather?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense in the in the sense of like fine dining, right? Like you're like, "Oh, well, we might not be able to get a table again or something." Um, it did seem like that if you were going to it did seem a little bit hard to believe that all not only was everyone late, but they were also 3 full
Still,
turns showed up,
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess because I was also thinking about like, okay, yeah, you're like it's now or never. Again, with the whole Marcus article the day before, have you been to a restaurant like the Bear? Because I have questions because I haven't.
I mean, I've been to a fine dining restaurant, like, not one that has stars necessarily, but
Okay, so I mean, so how does it work? Is it like a flat fee you pay before? Is it like is this? I'm guessing obviously it's a set menu
well,
because we
yeah,
know that
like
from watching the show.
yeah, there's like, if you go to a restaurant that serves a tasting menu, you know what I mean? Like, it'll have the courses, you pay for the you pay you don't choose, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you pay for the whatever they're having, and then you can do, like, a wine pairing or, a juice pairing if you don't want alcohol or something like that, there's different things that add on to it, but yeah, basically everyone gets the same courses and the same
6 or 7 courses,
menu
yeah.
that is unique for a period of time, like it might be seasonal, it might be like just that week. The
Mm-hmm.
chaos menu thing that
Call
Carmi
me
was doing was like they were changing it all the time.
every day. Yeah. Um. At some point, Sugar says that they're charging 190 per head. $190? 190,000? What are we? What are we?
I
Like,
mean, I didn't catch that, but that would seem to be pretty low for Chicago, wouldn't it?
I don't know. So what was similar? 190,000 or
I
$190?
mean, $190. I mean, like,
Yeah, because it's in the finale when she's talking to Richie. She's like, "We're currently at 190 per head," and unless they're not talking about the price, and he's like, "Can we go up?" And she was like, "200 seems a lot." So I was like, "Wait, what? How much does this cost? Like, how much does
yeah,
fine dining cost?"
I'm not really sure, because I don't like it. They had, I don't know. Like, I know what I paid at high end restaurants,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, I know, like, it's pretty. There's a pretty large amount. Like, you could spend a lot of money at places, but
Yeah,
there's also like what you would expect. Like, I lived in Las Vegas for a while, and there's a lot of high end restaurants there with named chefs, that do tasting menus and things like that. And 190, I don't know, maybe that's normal, maybe it's not. Like, I haven't lived in the US for a while, so I wouldn't be able to tell you.
so I just quickly checked Reddit, and um, I'm seeing things about 285.
Like,
Yeah, just
I went to New
just
York.
went to Ever a couple of weeks ago. I didn't know Ever was a real restaurant. It was 325 per person for food plus 185 per person for wine pairings.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking it would be. More like that.
So maybe 190 was like 1900. I don't know. Okay, whatever. I was just kind of stuck on the price. My final question before we go into episode 7: would you want to be in the Mitchell's position? I thought this was so funny. I loved every second of the Mitchells in the kitchen. I was like,
I I I would. I don't think I would be as enthusiastic as he was, you know
as
what I
I,
mean? Like, I would be trying to, like, I would love to just sit back and watch people like that, operate or
I would
whatever,
feel like
but
I was in the way. I'll be too anxious. I'll be like,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
it would be difficult for me. Like, eventually I'd wanna go, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, he was
Um,
so I loved it so much. Oh, I well, you mentioned about the show being self-referential. I don't know if this was intentional, but one of the favorite moments was when Luca and Marcus start fighting, and then Alan goes, "That's not funny." And I thought that went
yeah.
to the whole idea of like the show
I
is
think
not a
that was
comedy.
Yeah, I think that really was, that was one. I think there was I think with the Mitchells too, I think Sid telling the guy not to do that when he said kept saying hands,
Yeah.
that kind of felt that way to me too, you know what
And
I mean?
when he kept
Because
on going, "Yes,
everybody
chef,"
yeah,
and Carmen's like,
everybody
"That's so fucking annoying." Just like,
yeah, yeah, because everyone started saying, "Yes, chef," after this show came out, right?
yeah. Um, no, yeah, I really, I loved it so much. I loved it so much. Okay, let's talk about let's talk about episode 7. I don't actually even know where to start. I guess I'll just start from. I cried during this episode. I have never cried at a TV show.
You've never
Genuinely,
cried at a TV show?
I just don't cry at TV shows. I get emotional and I can like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
I can understand.
I can maybe get choked up, but like tears have actually never come out. But like this was the first time, and
Wow.
I, I, I don't even. So okay, so let me kind of paint the
You're a bit
picture.
younger than me. Like I think probably you know whenever as I've gotten older, this has gotten worse. I think you know what I mean.
I
Especially
hear that.
if I'm watching by myself, you know what I mean. But like yeah, generally speaking, getting misty, you know, like that's pretty normal. Like if a show's
Hmm.
good, but to actually shed a tear, to bawl a little bit like that, that's still pretty rare.
Yeah. I mean, I did, yeah, I didn't bawl, but like, I definitely like, there were one or two drops. Where I was like, oh, and it was like one of those things where people would know. Hopefully, everybody knows. Listen to this, everybody has cried. It was one of those things where I didn't know the crying was going to come, and it just kind of caught me by surprise and just hit my throat. You go, I was like,
Yeah.
and this is so, and I was trying. Even when I rewatched the episode, I was still emotional in that section, and it's. I wish I could say it was one thing. I don't think it was one thing. I think it was a combination of things. But I do know the section where it hits, and it's when I even know it's in in my head right now. It's when Sid has to come out with the food because everybody else is walking,
Yeah.
and then she drops the food, and they're so complimentary to her, and she obviously being Sid doesn't take all the credit. She's like, we all do whatever, and then the camera follows her walk through the restaurant, and then she sees everybody enjoying her food. She sees the weather guy give her a thumbs up. Then it doesn't, and obviously Richie says, well done. Then Luca brings Marcus's dad the dessert. So I'm like, okay, Luca is doing it. Let Marcus be away. Let Marcus not be involved in this. And the moment Marcus comes
Yeah,
out,
and he just came like a
ah,
boss too.
I was like, I couldn't. And you mentioned about how Marcus was the emotional through line for you. Like, I was actually kind of really annoyed with Marcus this episode because I was like, you're being really so not this episode, this season. I was like, this is really unfair to Luca. Like, you're taking it out on Luke. So I was not really on his side. But once that happened, I was like, oh my god. Like, once he comes out to his dad, I was just like, I was a mess. I couldn't
That's
believe.
why it
Yeah,
was, you know what I mean? Like that was that's going on with him, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
he
for sure. Oh, I understood it. Yeah, yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. Like it hit so perfectly. And then to have Luca later say to him that they have what the thing that you can't really see when you're inside there, you know, the fact that it is that they have family, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and the way that is because like I said, whenever you think about those situations, like seeing your father, seeing someone that you don't know the way that you would have liked to have, right? You know, some for some reason in your life, this person hasn't had that position, and you both have feelings about it, and you both have spent time thinking about it, and there's really not a good way that that can play out. You know what I mean? Like not like emotionally, like a
Mm-hmm.
way that's gonna satisfy your emotions, like, you
It's
can't
never live up to what's in your head for sure. Yeah.
yeah, 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 so, right, and then so then, like, you know, you see this and you're like, "Well, that's a fantastic way that that played out for him, and that's really satisfying," and then it comes back to the family thing, and that's the thing about, you know, that's the thing about family, right? You know, these people you're connected to them forever and you can be angry with them and you can dislike them and all these different things that happen between people but there still is this connection that that has a power over you one way or
Mhm.
the other, right? And so I thought that was a really smart way to kind of background all this stuff because everybody gets a happy ending here. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this could be fully sappy if you start to think about it, but it doesn't play that way because it's not really the kind of world that they live in, right?
Mhm. Yeah, and just
And it
even
just so reminds me of family and just those connections that you have with people in that way.
yeah, for sure, like, those friendships that become family and those are kind of or some usually the strongest ones. Even just on Marcus, the way like everybody, once they know it's Marcus's dad, they all just kind of like from Richie to Sid to Carmen, just like, oh, to Luca, like it's Marcus's dad. That's a non-starter. We're doing it. We're doing everything. Like it's just again, is that kind of like being there for him.
Yeah, like
Yes,
they
I
were there for him in the way that his real father
never
never
was.
was. And
Yeah.
same with, you know, like Richie saying to Carmi, "We got you," you know, and
Oh,
Sid
you
being
know
there
what?
and then meaning that like that while Donna's in the other room, you know what I mean? Just like yeah, that stuff was
Yeah.
great.
So I have some pinpoints from the episode 7, which to me, I think instantly went up there. Let me not talk about episode big, like up there, some of my best bear episodes, I do think. Like it's up there with Fishes, it's up there with Folks, it's up there with
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
um episode season 1, episode 7. It's just everything. Like to me, I could actually even argue that this is my finale. This is the episode for me. Like everything that we've been working on for 6 episodes, for 4 seasons, just comes there. And like you said, they win. Like we wanted to see these guys not win of like, yes, we ended, but we have no time. Like they win. Like they are happy. That shot at the end when they all come out and they're smoking and Kami. When did we see Kami laugh? Like when did we have we
N
actually ever seen
not
Kami
very
laugh on
often.
this show? I feel like every laughter he's done has been with a tinge of like either I need to act like I'm happy or there's something bad coming. Like this is the first time he's really, and he says it at the end, right, in finale, like he was happy. Okay, some things. Neil and the Starman, quote unquote the Starman, love that. Again, love to see
Yeah.
Neil win. But and again, it's like I know, like you said, there've been some criticism about the facts, in general.
But
Yeah, I
man,
think
you really like Neil in that moment, don't
you
you? Like
really
he
like
is
Neil. Yeah,
he's a
and
good character.
and he does it by being Neil Fack. He doesn't
Yeah.
like become the show doesn't make him Richie in this moment or Renee. Like he makes the connection through his tattoos. And his story is weird and long, but very emotional, which is what Neil is. It's just
Yeah.
it's like you want to be happy for him the way everybody else is happy for him. Like, yeah, he's got this. I was just like, again, okay, thank you. The hot plate situation, or rather solution, which is where you're like, oh yeah, Sid is better for this job because
Yeah.
Calm is spiraling already, and she's like, okay, give me a second, let me think, and she has the solution. Um,
Yeah, yeah, there was some parts before that where I was getting a little annoyed because I was like, because she was kind of wishy-washy in different
mhm,
situations. It was more about the fact that she hadn't been able to wrap her head around the fact that she was in charge and she didn't really need to check with him anymore.
yeah,
But for a while, I was like, but wait, I thought, you know, going in, I'm thinking that it will go better if Sid's in charge.
mhm,
And so, yeah, to see it when it actually comes down, it feels good, right?
yeah.
And they just say it out loud in the next episode. I mean, he said in 8, he says that it would have been a disaster if I was in
Disaster.
charge.
Sugar also tells her that like it was great because you were in charge. Speaking of disaster, Kami drops the dish, the final lamb chop. And I don't know if there's. I mean, obviously there've been. I was about to sound very hyperbolic, but like, but this was like a very good representation of just like you can see Kami's PTSD coming out. Like
Mhm.
you can see him reverting to his old anxieties. Like you can see him with
Yeah.
the Joe McHale chef. Like he was. I felt like he was this close to like hitting his head. I'm like stupid, stupid. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
like you could just see everything, and then, but like you said, Richie, who I love that Richie and Kami were just friends this season. I was like, I don't have the energy for another season of Richie Akami fighting.
Yeah, that was another thing that, like, some of the stuff that was bothering me early on that, stopped happening or stopped bothering me as it went on, was that they were showing like stuff like that. They were showing like these flashbacks that some of the stuff I didn't like the first time when it happened, like Richie and Carmi screaming at each other for like
Yeah.
5 episodes in a row. You know what I mean? And yeah, but like I said, it pays off here, and
Yeah.
it takes a self-awareness, and like it takes more than just us being invested in these characters. You know what I mean? Like there's something else going on in that scene. And so you have to give, even though some of those rougher stretches were hard to endure at times,
Yeah.
they were smart enough to be able to be like, well, does this character do this? Will it be surprising if they do this? How will that land? And it lands really, really well.
That's really well, yeah. Like, call me, because I think even Sid doesn't know what Richie is going to say. Like, she's almost like telling Richie it's okay, nothing happened, whatever.
Yeah,
She's like,
she's just as worried as we are that he's gonna
exactly,
crack.
yeah. Yeah, and then he's like, cousin, I got you. Everybody, like Alan. I just remembered when the plate drops, and Alan is like, he dropped a plate, and his wife was like, he must feel like a piece of shit. I was like, you guys are not helping right now.
People can hear you just because
Yes.
you have a lot more money than they do, and you're standing back here doesn't mean that they can't hear you.
Also, I think I think there's a subplot about the woman behind the Mitchell, because Carly Richie brings around that couple. I think she's just getting drunk in the background. Like,
Yeah, she seemed to be getting pretty. I don't know. Maybe they just gave the actor like real booze during the thing,
yeah.
but she really seems to be enjoying
By the
herself.
time she's leaving, she's like, and she's like full on drunk. She's like, I love you. You're so great. Because I think she has a glass of wine throughout it every time she's on screen. It was really funny. But yeah, no, Kami dropping it and just kind of everyone rallying behind him, and like, yeah, and then him then telling Sid to make the coke ribs, and
Yeah, and that was set up nicely too, because you saw him come back to get to steal another bite.
I love that. Even when that happened originally, I loved that. I was like, yeah, he's like, fuck, I've tasted something. He's like,
yeah, and you
he's
know,
like, this is...
and you got the back and forth where she says that the lamb was the second best bite. The first one was the one that she had at the meal whenever she was coming up. That basically got her to go to him in Chicago and get the whole thing rolling.
Yeah, I think obviously we know about this from season 1 when she tells Marcus the story. Sid, maybe it's because of the show, maybe it's because of male-centric eyes, but like Sid's genius has never really been shouted. It's been known, it's been highlighted that she's like obviously a very talented chef, but like she's never been obviously discussed the way like Kami's genius has been, which we'll get to in a second. So, and it's always been a lot quieter. Like she makes family meal. Like from the first episode, right? She made the family meal for them, right? And was like, oh, this is great. But it was never like,
yeah, and
how do we bottle this genius? If that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, the thing about her, I think, what I was thinking about when I was watching the last couple episodes, whenever I was doing notes, is she's always been so competent that you don't worry about her in the way that you worry about other people, but that also makes her less remarkable. Like,
yes,
it shouldn't.
Yes.
It shouldn't. It's very, she is clear. They tell us over and over again that she is, but I feel like for me anyways, I just put her in this category where like, I'm not too worried about Sid because she's going to figure it out. Like she's going to be able to figure that out. That's just the kind of person she is. Whereas everyone else is a ticking time bomb that could, go off at any time. And that's the role that she plays in the narrative too, is to be a kind of anchor. And it's just sort of like, how long can she put up with the other people, and how will that affect her more than, something along those lines.
Yeah, and I think from the show, to give the show its credit, is also kind of like a commentary on what we expect genius to look like. and
Yeah.
also what we um forgive in genius. Like we're like, Kami is a genius, but he's also erratic. He also has all these tattoos. He's also has anger issues and like all
Yeah.
these
He's a
things.
mess,
And
you know,
yeah,
like
he's a mess. But like we're
bona
not.
fide.
But like you just said, Sid is creative. She's a genius. She's competent. But we're underselling it because she's not like an erratic man who could shout at his entire staff. And
Yeah.
so yeah, and I think that's a commentary on us as a society, us the
Yeah.
watchers, the listeners. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's my bad. Because like you said, from the first episode, they show that Sid knows what she's doing.
Mhm.
She's like, she's not, but we're always like, oh, okay, maybe she's a step below Kami. Maybe like no, 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 no. She can be the head chef, and like I think that was something that I had to also kind of like get into my head. That like, no, she's not like she can be the guy. She's
Yeah.
not necessarily just someone who is trying to figure it out. Just because she's not running around throwing her shoulders doesn't mean like she can't do it. Um so yeah, like I love the moment when he tells her it's better than everything I've ever made. And I love even more the moment when she's like, can you sub in for me? And he's like, no. This is you. Go do it.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I really, and it's like, again, I mentioned earlier, just kind of like my own desire to be creative and be in creative spaces and make all these things. Those are kind of like the collaborations that you're looking for. Like, he's like, as an aside, and we'll talk about this in a second when we get to the end, but I've been saying that I really want to have a friend who is an athlete because I feel like one of the best things could just be like if seeing your friend win like a sports tournament and just like be really like that kind of team communal happiness and joy. It's just like when they finish that service and like everyone's just happy because like everyone has contributed to the work and everyone has done their part. And it's like we watched them when they were the beef. Like Richie
Mhm.
was shouting at like the front tail. I don't know. I really, really love episode 7. Um, One final thing, episode 7, Kami making the brioche. And I was like, that's it, man. That's his genius right
Yeah.
there. Like,
Yeah, he got to redeem himself for dropping the plate, but also those are things that we know that he can do, right? Like it,
mm-hmm.
and it doesn't feel contrived at all. It feels like, you know, in that moment he can do that, and
What does
it's
Lucas
fun
say?
to watch, you know?
Yeah, it's not
And
the weirdest thing he's seen him do. I was like,
yeah.
sure. Like, but yeah, no, you're right. It's fun. Like he's also that is probably even the moment. I mean, maybe it's probably when he drops the play that he becomes Calmy 2.0 because he's calm in that moment. He assesses what needs to be done. He's not, he tells Richie, it's fine. It's not a big deal. I'll figure it. Like, it's not, again, Calmy of one season ago would not have reacted that way. He would have said
Yeah.
all the fucks at Richie and like, yeah. So again, just on that thing, I was like, I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, and there was a notable, like, you can see the change,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like, you had a sense that there was a change, it was happening, it was taking time, it was a process before, but this is where it, you know, he does react differently. There does feel like there's a real future for him after this service.
Yeah. Um, He's talking about his dad, Marcus's dad. So should we just go to the finale? Is there anything outside
Um
of the finale we haven't discussed?
I mean, I thought it was a pretty good thing to have Donna show up and like just not do anything crazy at all.
Crazy, yeah. I was like, thank you. I genuinely was like, Donna, today is not the day. Donna,
Yeah, because
please.
that's what I'm saying. Like you really like I think pretty much all everyone who's watched the show is probably thinking the same thing of like, oh, okay, so they're gonna do this, they're gonna pull it off, and then Donna's gonna crash out and
Yeah,
cause a
I'm like, oh,
problem, make it
it
about
should have
her.
been me. Like, yeah, make it about her exactly. Yeah, so I was very happy to do that. I mean, for the finale, we could talk about like Jimmy's whole subplot this season of just trying to get some money. and not like yeah. At some point, I don't know whether he's trying to sell the bear or keep it, or like there's air rats get involved. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, he obviously has that kind of discussion with Kami in the finale about like the two sides of his brain. And like, I think no matter what you think about Jimmy and what he's trying to do throughout the season, like it's never in doubt that he loves the show. So not the show. He loves the restaurant. He loves the people. Like he
Yeah.
loves Kami.
They are family to
Their
him.
family. Yeah. Um. Okay, let's talk about the finale because you mentioned this word a couple of times now. And satisfying. So I guess why was this finale satisfying for you?
Um, well, I don't know if the finale itself was
Oh, so just the
particularly.
show.
I just felt like it wrapped things up together. Like it just sort of
Mm-hmm.
clarified the vibe of the binge season, I think. You know what I mean? Like I guess everything feels pretty inevitable, so I don't know. I guess that's satisfying in a way. I didn't know what was going on whenever Carmi met up
Yeah.
with the cousin
John
and went
Mulaney.
to
Yeah.
the interview. I'm still not 100%. Like I only got to watch the finale once all the way through
Mm-hmm.
before we had this conversation. So like maybe it'll hit me a little bit different. I think it's fine for what it does. You know, it serves as a place for him to realize how special that situation was or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's his meeting. It's his Al-Anon meeting. Like we haven't had it in a few
Yeah,
seasons
that's
where he
true.
gets to just unpack
Yeah,
everything.
it's basically a
Y-
therapy session
Yeah.
with
And
but
she's like, that's not
also
what I asked you. I asked you
yeah.
about being an intern.
Do you think that he is now an architect?
So I wrote on my notes that I wrote Kami got out. No one ever gets out. Right?
Mm.
Which I don't know if that's what you meant by like the open-ended question.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I
uh, you know,
no, so I think emotionally he's out. I don't know if physically he's out. Like I think the way he tells that story and when he makes the realization that like always been happy, it seems like I don't know if he's out of the restaurant business.
yeah.
But at the same time, I love what he says obviously earlier about like you need to break cycles to break cycles, right? So it's like it would even though he's realized this, would he going back to a restaurant, would that just
Yeah,
make him revert?
that's kind of what I thought of when I was not maybe in the moment when I was watching, but whenever I was reflecting on it after the fact. I was thinking about that thing that it was you have to break patterns, you have to break patterns.
Yeah.
But that's also a pretty rigid way to apply that is like I can't work with these people that who have also become my family.
Hmm.
The pattern needs to break is being a self-destructive asshole who can't
Narcissist also, yeah.
yeah, who can't hand over control and so yeah, like I feel like it is open-ended of whether his time with them is over or not. I mean,
Yeah.
did he I guess he must have mentioned to Claire or someone in the past that he wanted in previous seasons that he had wanted to be an architect or something?
I don't think it did, but I think we've always known that he was artistic.
I know yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
he's good. So I don't remember the architect's one because I don't think
Like
he's ever
I
thought about
remember the
any.
rendering of the restaurant that he gave Mikey,
Yeah,
and things like
yeah.
that, you know
He's
what I mean?
always
But
drawn. We know that for sure. I think even the bear logo is a sketch of his.
mhm.
So we know that for sure. So like architecture wasn't. I wasn't like, oh wow. Even though I do think, I don't know. Can you just become an intern? Does you need to go to school?
No, like, that's the thing, like, it is a little bit bizarre like that, like, you just have
Uh,
connections, you could be an architect, like,
I
where do I
I
get
don't
those
think.
connections? Because you know,
Well,
I think pretty much all of us have wanted to be an architect at one time or another, right?
I don't think he survives. And like he's looked so weird in a suit. Like I was like, he doesn't. No,
Yeah,
I'm
the whole
sorry.
thing was a bit odd,
But
but
I think that's the point. I want to believe that's the point. I want to believe that like the show wants us to feel like this feels weird for him. So I like your idea. I like your thing of like even just taking himself out of the equation is breaking patterns enough.
Yeah.
Like, I think he can go back. He can go, maybe not even the bear, maybe a food truck. I don't know. But I think he can go back to cooking if he's hopefully learned his lessons and learned this thing. Like you say, it doesn't have to be a zero-sum game of like breaking patterns or whatever it means completely divorcing yourself. And I like the idea, obviously you mentioned that everybody gets a happy ending here. I like the idea that for the birthday party, he's there. There's a version of this show where he's not there. It's a darker thing. But like I think so like even if he's not in the restaurant, in the bear, in the beef, whatever, we know that he's accepting this family into his life and love into his life. So like to
He's
me, I'm
there
like,
laughing with Claire Bear too.
yeah. So to me, I'm like, okay, even if he never goes back to a restaurant again, he's okay. Which is why I was like, he gets out. Mentally, he's okay. Like when Whiplash ends, I can't tell you that that Miles Teller's character is okay. Like, is like that's it. Like, so you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, so for Kami, I'm like, okay. Even if you're never, I don't think you'll be an architect. Maybe you have a food truck, or maybe you'll be a UPS delivery driver. I don't know what you'll be, but like, I think mentally he's out. He's out of that funk that he was in, and
Yeah,
like, yeah.
I mean, I think that there was that moment where he's telling Richie that he was just doing the onions, he was just doing the work, and he was okay with that. And I think that would only go so far too, right?
Yeah. Richard said so. That's you. That's terrible. You're
Yeah.
too good to do that.
And then the other part of it I think about too, though, because you talk about creativity and stuff, like, you can he was considered one of the best, and then just not to do that anymore, like, that's really kind of tragic, but it's not if that thing kills you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have personal experience with, like, walking away from doing something that, that defined who I was for a period of time, you know what I mean? And, like, it's just sort of like, yeah, sometimes in your life, you go from one thing to another thing, and
Mm-hmm.
some of those things are elevated in the sense that they intersect with other people, and people come in contact with them, and they feel affected by it. But you know what I mean? Like, is it a tragedy if he walks away from that? If doing it, like, is killing him? Not really, right?
No, no.
We just want him to
I
be with his family that they made along the way. I guess
yeah.
is the
Well,
way that I feel at the end of the
no,
day.
for sure, I agree with you, and I think we'll even like um argue that like it's not cooking that was killing him. It was being in those restaurants and striving for a star and striving for perfection and all.
Yeah.
It was the
Yeah, the
circumstances. It was
stuff
the
he was doing in
environment.
season 3 and season 4 was, that stuff was killing him.
Yes. So again, I don't think he can actually. Let me revise my earlier point. I don't think he can ever work at the Bear because I do think, like you said, I think him chopping onions. It's just no. It's not you, Kami. Like right. But I do think
Mhm.
there is a way to. I've been thinking a lot about Chef. I don't know if you've seen Chef, the John Favreau film. Um.
No, I have not.
Yeah. I mean, check it out. I think it's a good companion piece to the Bear. It's also kind of about a chef who has to find his like love for it back, and Oliver Platt is in it as well. Um, I think he. Okay, let me not. I was going to say something as a spoiler, but anyway, no, yeah, Oliver Platt is in it as well. John Favreau. Anyway, so but also, again, it's also about like rediscovering your love for the thing and like for this thing. And I think, I can't imagine. Like you said, he was so good. I can't imagine there's a future of a calming future without him cooking. But I don't think it will be the sense of like if I don't think it's been fine dining. I don't think it will be in um a place where he's striving for stars. I think it's just be him cooking and enjoying
And
it. Hopefully.
it's not like going to work at the ghost kitchen that Ibrahim's
No.
building up. Like,
I genuinely think it's a
he's gonna
food
get a
truck.
nice payday from that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, that was, I think, what a lot of people had guessed that the show might be working towards was that they were going to go back to having a beef sandwich shop and realize that, oh, it was so much better before we made
No,
it this.
no, no, no,
But
no, no.
that's, that never really made a lot of sense to me.
No. I said food truck and I stuck in my head. I genuinely just think it's something like that. Something low maintenance, but also fun.
Yeah.
And
Food truck
so,
makes sense. Yeah, I'll
yeah,
agree.
how does the star system work? Because I'll be honest with you, as you guys know by now, I don't really know about food dining, as you probably guess from this
Yeah,
episode.
well, the 1 star is basically that's what most of the starred restaurants have, and that's just basically the I mean, if you think about what the Michelin Guide is,
Mm-hmm.
which, like, most of what I know about that is from, like, looking places up, like, 'cause I travel a lot,
Mm-hmm.
or stuff that I found out since I started watching The Bear,
The
like,
bear, yeah.
most of this is anecdotal for me, but the the 1 star is basically they recommend the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to get, but they're just saying that it's high quality food with high quality ingredients that's served at this high level.
There's a
Y
level, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So 2 stars, which is what they get here, would be there's something more than that. Like, I
Mm.
think the way that the wording on the Michelin thing and the guide is that one's worth stopping in on, 2 stars is worth taking a detour for. You
Oh,
know
I
what I
like that.
mean? So, like, there's some kind of creative thing that's specific that goes above and beyond what, like, it's usually about, like, their, like, whatever they're doing there. And then
Yeah,
it goes up to 3 stars. Like, I
goes up to
think
three.
Ever was a 3-star restaurant, I believe.
So
But there's not
my
very
naive
many of those, you know what I mean? Like,
my
that's not.
naivety, so I just Googled actually there are 156 3-star restaurants. My naivety is that I didn't know you could get more than one at a time. So I thought it
Yeah,
was a thing of like you get one and maybe they come back in 5 years and they can re-up you. I didn't know you could just get two at a go, which was just like,
yeah,
yeah,
like, they
because
they
they kept saying they were chasing a star, right? I just thought, oh, okay, like one is the first entry level, and then
and then, like, yeah, after you've gotten a star for 3 years in a row, then you're 3 stars on
yeah,
it. Like, that
exactly.
that makes a kinda sense. But, yeah, like, no, it's actually like a, like, yeah, there's a lot more 1 stars. 2 stars
Mm.
are rarer, and 3 stars are the rarest, as far as I
Um,
know.
yeah, 3 stars, 156. Um, yeah, and based on your thing, so 3 stars is an exceptional cuisine that is worth a special journey. While two is detour, one is
And
very good.
I've eaten at 1-star places, but they weren't fine dining. The ones that I've been to weren't fine dining places.
Okay, explain how is that possible? I thought,
Like,
like how?
the 1-star that I gone to is, it's like it was a Hong Kong style, kinda comfort food place, you know what I mean? So, like, it was one of those places that, um, really high quality and whatever, but it's not like a tasting menu where they bring out
Oh,
all
okay,
these
that's what you mean
different
by
things.
fine
Like, you
dining.
go
Okay,
there and
okay,
you go there and you get dim sum, and, you get, like, beef noodle, like, Taiwan beef noodle
fair.
type thing, you know what I mean?
Um, my quick Google just also said that like the stars go to the restaurant, not the chef. Because I was
Yes.
gonna ask like if Kami can, I guess, can he put down his CV?
Yeah,
Because I mean, technically, he was head chef when they got it, right?
yeah.
Technically,
Yeah, and if you remember, like, when he went to New York in the show, he had to keep the star. He didn't get a star of his own with his own restaurant, but he was the head chef at the restaurant where they, like, 'cause you have to
whose
keep it
restaurant is
at,
this? Not
like,
Joe,
you
not
can
Joe
lo
McHale.
I think that, yeah,
Was it Joe McHale's restaurant?
I think it must have been. It could have
Hmm.
been the first guy that he went to, um, the one where Sid had the meal.
Okay, yeah,
But, yeah, I don't know for sure, but you do have to keep the star, because obviously once they give it to you, they come back and they make sure that you're still worth, you know.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
And like most places do, I think, as far as I know, like I think it'd be pretty rare that if you were that high quality that they would just be like yank your
Can you
star
drop?
out.
Can you drop from a 2 to a 1?
I think that might happen more
Mm,
often, but I think like probably what happens more often is because restaurants don't last forever. A lot of times those famous head chefs, they go off to start a new one somewhere different
mhm.
whenever they get tired of the one or whatever. So I think probably that happens more than anything else.
Yeah. So, anyway, I guess you could say he chefed at a or he was head chef at a restaurant
It
that
was his
got
dishes that
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was his dish.
on
It was
that
3 months
night.
ago.
It was specifically the beef and the scallop dish, the same
Yeah.
one that got Sid. So
Yeah. It wasn't the coke ribs. Um that's so funny that they completely misread who the star man was. And obviously he comes to the
that's
celebrities, they're
kind
like,
of
"Oh yeah."
that kind of feels like a thing where they're talking about like the discussion around the show too, because I think most of us thought it was the guy in
Mhm.
the night with the snow machine.
Yeah.
But then we also figured, well, there's no resolution there, so he must be coming back, or there must be another person coming. So
I need to go back and watch that episode. Because we all thought that was it and it just didn't happen. So like, yeah, let's go back and watch that episode. Um, okay. I think we're gonna wrap up soon. Do you have anything like big? Like, I think, like I said, I won't be surprised. I mean, I'll be very surprised if like the general public is like, "Oh, I love the structure," but I won't be surprised if like people are like, "I hate these first 5 episodes." Um, or maybe I need to give the audience more credit. I don't know. But I like the show's decision to kind of one focus on the chaos of this one very bad, no good, terrible day, but also just kind of like focusing on these core characters and like these core things. And it's raining, so we can't get random guests in. Like it's just these guys figuring out the service up till 5:30. So I really kind of like, and then it gives them, as Kami said, the worst service ever, and like they overcome it. But she doesn't have to cancel anybody. Just I love seeing my friends win. I love seeing giving characters I like
yeah,
get W's. So
yeah, I think one of the moments I think that really kind of put things into perspective a bit was like when Richie was talking about the perfect restaurant,
hmm
and the one perfect restaurant he's ever been to, and you're kind of thinking he's going to say it was the beef, which was a shit
that was where I
show,
thought he
and
was
then
going.
and
Yeah,
then you're like, well, wait a minute, like it, this whole thing with Mikey is so complicated. You know what I mean? Like, how are they going to actually deal with that? And the fact is that you can't deal with that. He's dead, and
hmm
that's what's hard about losing someone is that they're gone. You know what I mean? And they're just this thing that just is there in the background, right? And so you had this thing where that was a nice surprise that it was actually talking about being at their house,
hmm
and Richie is saying about how he loved it there because it was everyone loved him and they let him be himself and whatever, and you're thinking, but that was like a prison for the people who actually were done as kids, and so it's really complicated, but it's also like they all got through that together, right? You know
yeah.
what I mean? And so like
And the
th-
kids probably loved Sunday nights. That
yeah,
was probably what they were looking forward to all week. So like it was a prison every other day, but Sunday nights they looked forward to it.
right. And like, so those were that's like the bear to me, like those
Mm.
kind of things, like where you can just sort of be that straightforwardly, like, like, yeah, that we know we're doing this because it's going to make people feel emotional after it happens.
Yeah.
It's not subtle, but it it's it's beautiful in a way because it's something that we've also experienced in our own lives, right?
Yeah.
A- and the one other thing, what I was thinking about it because I don't want to forget, like I loved that Richie had never been on a plane.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
that was such a perfect detail, because we knew that he was that kind of person at the beginning of the season, the kind of guy who never leaves his neighborhood, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But we forgot about it over those years. Like like there was a couple of really good scenes I thought in the finale where one with Carmi and Sid and one with Carmi and Richie, where it seems like it doesn't really seem like they're acting. Like they're in character, you know what I mean? But it just seems like this is like the culmination of these years of working together.
Which
These people,
scenes?
when in the walking cooler, and then when Sid's asking Carmi what he's gonna do, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
I
what are you
agree with
gonna
you. Those
like?
2
Do you
scenes
have?
stuck out for me. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Can you
like, do
write a
you?
CV?
Yeah, and like like those scenes, and that was the one big thing that came out of that for me was like, how you how do you when you're a 40-year-old man do you tell someone that you're upset because you never gone on a plane? Like,
Mhm.
obviously I've been on planes, but like there's other things that I could put into that situation, right? Like things that I haven't done. And yeah, I just thought that was like a super good little detail to slip in there.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Ritchie, like, I love the combination with him and Jess's plotline. That was the real love story that the show that fans should have been fighting for. Not Sid and Kami. Oh my god, I'm so happy I won on that. Every season I went into, I worried that like the show was gonna make Sid and Kami a thing. So I'm so happy that they never did that. Like,
Yeah.
there is
Yeah,
no
me too.
kiss that they could have done that would have been half as emotional as the hug they share after the start, because that's the relationship. That's who they are. It's like it's
Yeah,
that.
no, that's a perfect ending for them. And I there was a moment, there was a little bit of a when the finale ended for the first time, I was like, oh, but they aren't going to show them the rest of the crew finding out about the star.
I thought that
But
too.
then after the fact, it was like, yeah, because they're not the ones that it matters to, like really
Mm-hmm.
matters to, the ones that can
Mm-hmm.
understand what that means. You want them to share that exactly the way that they did. Like that was
Yeah.
a super good decision. Of
Yeah.
course, it would have been fine to see, but you don't need to pile on another.
It would have been nice, but like when you think about it, you're like, oh, actually, no, it's not what the story. It's
It's
not
not the
needed.
same for
Yeah.
them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how is that different for Marcus than winning upcoming chef of the year or
Yeah. They've
whatever he
already got
won?
them, and that moment
Yeah,
is when they scale the service from hell. We've seen them do that. No, you're right. I had the exact same thought process. I was like, yeah. Um,
but
yeah, I
yeah,
think,
that was fantastic. The line delivery, the wanting to know as bad as Sid wants to know,
yeah.
the shaking your head, no, no, you did not get a star, you got two. It
And as
was
someone like me who didn't know you could get two, I was like, what's about to happen? So when the
yeah.
chef said,
I had to
um,
check. I had to check after to make sure that I was
yeah.
right about that, because I knew 3 was like the best, but
Mm,
I didn't know why it was rare to be like 3 or 2, or how they what's different. Why is there like 3 is
levels and
30% better than
yeah.
2? Like, how do you, what's the scale?
God, I would hate to be a star, man. Imagine deciding, I know, no, thank you. Like
I mean,
deciding
that you wield some power in a way,
so much power.
And
Because no,
it's really not that bad, because if they fail, they don't know. It's not like you call them up and say, "You guys suck."
that's
You know what I
true.
mean? You
Yeah,
just go
that's
there and
true.
eat a meal, and then nobody, like, they might find out about it or whatever, but lots of restaurants that are really good don't have stars, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
that's not the end of the world.
Oh. Anyway, I'm gonna miss the show. I'm gonna
Yeah.
miss the show a lot. Like I said, it's one of the shows that I just emotionally loved. I watched emotionally instead of intellectually. I'm gonna miss it a lot. Luckily, we know we'll miss most of these actors because they're everywhere right now. So, I mean, Lionel Boyce was like what, fourth bill or one of the biggest movies of the year so far. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah. happy for all of them, happy for all their
Yeah, that
success.
really is I think it's a launching pad in a way, you know what I mean, for some of these.
Hmm.
One other thing that I really thought was what worked well was the, Tina, like, the little bit of the bookend, but with Tina and her
Her
husband at the
husband,
beginning,
real life
and
husband, by the way.
yeah, yeah, and just their last little walk down the sidewalk, like, that felt really grounded to me, you know?
Yeah, it's so interesting to kind of know. I mean, for Tina and Richie, especially, but just kind of like where their characters were season one, episode one, and where their characters end. Like Tina hated Sid. Do you remember that? Remember
Yeah.
that?
Oh, she was a saboteur.
She was
She
so bad.
literally she literally, like, messed up her onions or whatever it was, right?
Yeah,
Like, she turned it up. Uh,
so bad. What I was gonna say that just came up now, but I've forgotten.
oh,
Mm,
speaking of that, another thing that they bookended it away from the early season was the family meal. Like, if you think
mm.
about Sid's the first what it looked like the first family meal when they all sat down to Sid making that compared to at this really nice table with these really,
Yeah, and
r
I'm
braised,
just
coke ribs.
coke ribs. I'm
Eh
just thinking now because um in the first episode, I don't remember exactly what she made, but I know she used plantain, and Sid's dad is Nigerian on the show. And I remember her saying like it was like a Nigerian inspired dish for the first family meal. And then now, this final one, we find out that like the ribs are an inspiration from her dad, from her mom's, what her mom used to
Yeah.
make for her. So it's kind of again like another bookend of like the two parts of her culture and upbringing. Um, yeah, no, I really like the show. Gonna miss the show. Um, feel like we've kind of covered everything. Can't think of anything else we haven't covered.
We
Oh,
didn't
I mean,
really talk about
randomly,
Ibra at all.
well, I mean,
Ibrahim.
we talk about the
We
what you
did
call
talk
it,
about that,
the
yeah.
ghost sketches and everything. Randomly, original score produced by Hans Zimmer. I was like, did I miss that for the first four seasons? I was like,
Yeah, I
um,
that jumped out at me too.
yeah, I don't, but like, I don't know what that means. 'Cause I don't think it means he made like when I say produced by,
No,
because
he it seemed like he if you look at it, there's someone who did the score, and then
mm,
he's listed as, I was just checking my notes, I don't have it written down, but, um,
I mean, I know he does have like a not a
it
mentorship.
was like a producer credit.
Yeah, no, he has like this kind of, I don't know what to call it, but like a place where a lot of producers, I guess, work or are mentored or things like that. So maybe it was one of his kind of proteges or whatever. But I do know he was not in on the first four seasons credited. So I was like, oh. But then I did feel like, again, I don't know if it was confirmation bias. I did feel like some of the scoring in this was different than previous
It
seasons.
was. There was no needle drops at all.
I was going to say there were no needle drops this season. Um,
I mean, there might have been one that I'm not thinking of, but no, like that was a big part of the first few
yeah,
seasons was to have like these full on music video type sections. You know what I mean? Like where you hear almost the entire song,
yeah.
entire needle drop,
But then
and
the scores were definitely a lot more. Again, I don't know if it's
sparse.
confirmation bias, but like, yeah, sprawling, operatic. I mean, I don't know. I meant to go back and rewatch it. I don't know how, like, you mentioned earlier about not being subtle. I think, like, the finale, that whole birthday party thing was definitely not subtle. Like, and
Yeah,
it felt like it kept on going for on and on. I was like, guys, we get it. We're meant to be emotional. It's fine. Like, stop.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, no, apart from that, yeah, I was like, oh, there's definitely something different in the music this season. So
yeah. I
anyway,
mean, like that part, like it in a way, it's a little unnecessary. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's Richie with his daughter and her cake with
mhm.
100 candles. You know what I mean?
Oh, I definitely think the scene was necessary. I did feel like the music and everything made it go much longer. Like I was like,
Yeah.
guys, we get it. Everybody's here. We're emotional. Is the finale, but again, it's the final episode. You kind of allow them some of these
You're
things
allowed.
sometimes.
Yeah, you're allowed to.
Yeah,
You're allowed to
especially when
do
you're
it.
ending on a everybody wins note, not like a Succession where it's like did everybody lose note. So so I'm like, okay, you guys want to be sentimental, that's fine. I'll allow it. I've already done my crying in episode 7, so you guys can have this. Okay, Pete, thank you very much. I think we can end it there.
It's all we got.
It's all we got. Manja, baby. Manja. You'll be back on the podcast very soon, talk about House of the Dragon at some point. And you'll be talking Silo.
Yep.
Do you know if you have any
Maybe I'll
lives
be
coming up soon?
doing something about the bear. We'll see if I can.
Maybe, hopefully. I'm sure your listeners would love to hear that. Or rather your viewers.
Yeah, I don't know. I might do. I've been trying to get some live stuff together, but it's been a little bit hard to figure out what to do. Like I do want to have some people on to talk. Like I got a different project coming out, but because of the fact that Silo and House of the Dragon are happening right now, it's probably not going to be until after that. So I don't want to talk about that one yet, but
Yeah.
for the near term, it'll mostly be just doing
House of the Dragon on Silo.
Yeah.
So
But
Saturdays and Mondays.
yeah,
Lock
but
into Pete Peppers.
we'll see what materializes after that. Maybe, like I said, I don't often think about doing live streams when it comes to Game of Thrones stuff, just because there's so much of that stuff out there already. But maybe a Silo one. I've done some Silo live streams in the past.
Yeah. House of the Dragon live stream just seems like a hotbed for spoilers. I don't need that. The comments are just like.
Well, that's the thing about, like, not to totally derail at the end of this, but one of the things
but
about
no one's listening anymore.
Yeah, one of the things about that show is that the conversation is not something I enjoy participating in. Like I have a long standing relationship with that writer's work. I've watched all the shows. I enjoy what I enjoy about it. And like, it's something about just maybe because they get so big, those shows and stuff, that there's just so many things that I hear that I disagree with. And I really don't feel like arguing with people about it. You know what I mean?
I get that.
Or hearing their complaints. It's like, you know.
No, I fully get that. Trust me. Okay, guys, thank you very much for listening. What are we doing? We're doing House of the Dragon. We're doing this. We are doing. Oh, it will be released. Your Friends and Neighbors earlier. And we're getting ready for Christopher Nolan's July. So we have some episodes about Christopher Nolan, and then we'll talk about the Odyssey hopefully at some point, and then House of the Dragon rest of the summer. Okay, guys, thank you very much for listening. Pete, thank you very much.
Yeah. Good to see
you. Join us
you
next week. We'll be joined by Oscar winner Daniel Kaluuya. Bye, guys.